I'm recording the meeting for the minutes, and it is also being recorded as well. So it then may be on some sort of social media channel. So if you do not want your face to be seen, you really need to turn off your video camera. But if you're okay with it, that's fine. So we've got apologies from Councillor Ban. And the first item of the agenda is the election of chairman. So are there any nominations, please?
Do you think we can wait until they're all here? Do you think it's worth voting for
We can't start the meeting without a chairman. So
all right.
I mean, you can
Would
wait.
you do it, Tony? You're on mute at the moment.
Can I suggest Tony as well, please? I think it'd be a nice middle of the road person to have.
Yeah. Okay.
You're happy to do it?
Yeah, of course I am.
So I propose Councillor Dales is the chairman of the comms committee from now on. So
Councillor Sizeland seconded that.
So have a vote. So usual way.
Sorry, mate.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Tony.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Okay, everyone. Sue, you'll probably need to guide me through this side of it. Obviously, there's agenda items there that I will need some guidance with, obviously. Item 3 is public speaking. I'm just looking here. There is no paper on it, is there at all, Sue? Is there anything that's come through?
Just if any members of the public who've joined the meeting actually want to speak. This is
Yes, okay, right. I didn't know if there was anything written down for that. Okay, okay. We have members of the public in. Thank you very much for attending the communications meeting. Would anyone like to speak at the meeting, please?
Nope.
No.
Okay, I think that we can safely say that no one wishes to address the committee. Okay, thank you. The next one is item 4, which is our terms of reference. Sue has sent out in your pack a draft terms of reference, which you hopefully have had a good look at.
Tony, can I just interrupt you very loud? Can you turn your volume down?
Yeah, absolutely.
Turn it down a bit. Sorry.
Thank you. No problem.
That's better.
That's it to everyone.
Yeah,
that's better, Stella.
Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
My apologies. I didn't realise it was coming through like that. Thanks for telling me. Okay, you've got a draft terms of reference there that I'm hoping everyone has had a look at. And obviously today is to put those forward as our terms of reference. Sue, there are certain omissions in there with crosses on delegation and things. Is that something that will be filled in at a later date?
Yeah, so on number 1, it will be the meeting held today's date, and there'll be a minute number.
Yes, okay, thank you.
So the bit really you need to decide on is how many times you would like to meet in the year, if you want to put that in the terms of reference.
Yes, okay. Yeah, okay. How do you feel about that committee in relation to the number of votes? Councillor Sizeland, I think you've got your hand up.
Before going, well, I've got another query on it first. It says, I've just lost it at the moment, but it says a quorum would be 3 now. I think it's the Localism Act said it's got to be a quarter of the full council. So as we got 13, we'd have to make it 4. It's just a sort of a little legal point, really.
Let me just check that, because I thought it said a quarter or 3.
It says 3 or a quarter of the council.
Need to just check that.
Whichever is greater.
Okay. Does it say whichever is greater, Councillor Sizeland?
No, it's a choice.
Terminology?
It's a choice. The council makes a choice, either 3 or a quarter.
I was under the impression that Sue could check this out, that the Localism Act said it had to be whichever was greater.
We can check that, and then when we ratify the minutes next week, we can amend it if need
Okay,
be.
that's fine. So
yeah, that's good.
If we call it 3/4 at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Thanks,
Okay.
Councillor Sison. That's good.
Fine.
Thank you. Thanks for clarifying that. Okay, so we've got the minutes in front, the reference in front of us there, terms of reference. Is there anything else on there that
So how
other
many,
than the number? Yes, Councillor McCarthy.
Yeah, on the functions of the committee, item 3 is to produce the council's newsletter, and I think the full council resolved that they would produce the newsletter. So that's not in line with the policy of the full council.
Right.
But I'd also
Okay.
like to add one to the terms of reference, which would be for this committee to facilitate the filming and live streaming of parish council meetings once we get back to having proper meetings, because I think it's important for openness and transparency that we do actually have our meetings out, and we can also perhaps have a library of meetings on YouTube so that people can access them at any time.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's what all of our councillors subscribe to, and would want that to be the case. So is everyone happy for that to be included in the terms of reference?
Can I just make a point, Tony?
Yes.
One of the DALC circulars within about that during this lockdown, probably a month or maybe 6 weeks ago, recommended that parish council should put £5,000 aside to facilitate live streaming and filming, and whether we should follow the DALC advice. Could you confirm that, sir? I think it was £5,000, wasn't it?
yeah.
So should we sort of?
Is that something? Okay, yeah. I was just wondering if that's something the money side would be sorted out at this committee, or would it be under
I think we could sort it out when we do the budget for this committee, because the current lockdown seems to be going to be in place till March next year. So I think it would be a good idea to put the money in the budget January, February when we have the meeting.
That's fine, whatever.
And,
I agree with that. As long as the finances are put in place, as Councillor Sison says.
Yeah, if you look at the High Peak meetings, they have an IT technician on duty right through the meeting, and they also have a member of the committee section that sets it up. So there's quite a lot of staffing on High Peak meetings. So we need to think about how we do ours and how we actually, because of our staffing, we can't perhaps do it. So we might have to hire somebody. So £5,000 would be adequate.
Yeah. Okay. That can be included as Councillor McCarthy said in the later meeting. You're happy with that, Councillor Sison, are you? And yeah, good. Okay. What about the number of meetings that we're going to have then in relation to communications? Obviously, very important for us as a council. This area.
I think in the past it's been 3. Is that right, Sue?
Well, yes, it used to meet to do the newsletter, really. So it was a minimum of 3.
Okay. So 3 every 4 months. I don't know what's everyone's views. Throwing this open to you all. Yes, Councillor Walters.
You're on mute.
You're mute.
I think we need at least 6 because there's always things going on and that, and to get the communication over to the public, because there's a lot happens and they don't hear from the council. We need to do.
But that's bi-monthly, isn't it? That could be bi-monthly.
No, 6 meetings. So every 2 months have a meeting.
Yeah, so bi-monthly. Yeah, bi-monthly.
Can I suggest for a year, Tony, maybe split the difference a bit, and every 3 months. How about that?
I'm in favour of that personally. Can we put that to the committee then? That we meet 4 times, or as Stella says, as Stella's asked, is 6 times. But
perhaps we could ask Councillor Sison to propose 4 meetings and take it from there.
Okay.
I'll propose a minimum of 4 meetings, so that always gives us a chance of having an extra meeting in certain, you know, when if there's something special, you know.
I think that caters for what you're saying, Councillor Walters, in relation to, you know, things move and things happen and we may need to carry it. Would you be happy that if there is a need that we would then
that you
call
have
an
a
extra meeting?
Yeah, because we've not had a meeting for 8 months now, 7 or 8 months. I know we've had the COVID, but before that. So yeah, I think we need more meetings. But yeah, I'll second 4 then, Chris.
Okay.
On the understanding
Could I have a vote on 4 then, please?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that's carried forward for 4 meetings with the proviso for any additional if needed. Thank you.
The last bit is number 5 on the delegated powers to officers, about if the bit in italics, if we were asked by the national press to make a statement.
Right. Is that something that's been put on there, Sue? Is that something that is normally included in terms of reference from? Is that from experience of other councils, or has that come from guidance?
So I've looked at other councils, but it was something that I thought about. I suppose that, you know, there is the possibility something might happen and we might be asked for a comment by national press. And it may it'll be something contentious, won't it? Probably. So therefore, would it be a council decision rather than an officer decision?
Yeah, I suppose it may not also be negative. It could be like the reservoir situation we had, where the council may wish to make and then we as a council need to be clear on where the request goes and who then makes that request. Once again, I'm open to your thoughts on who would. I like the idea of putting that in. I think it's a very positive statement to make, particularly if national press are asking at any time. We've got a clear procedure to follow. What's your views as a committee on who that would be, who would make that statement? Would it be a council responsibility, or as Sue said, would it be an officer responsibility? Any views, please?
I think it should be a council decision on it, a collective decision.
I think there needs to be an element of control on that. I don't think it's for any one individual. So yes, could I propose that we put item 5 in delegated powers onto the terms of reference? Is somebody who would like to propose that?
What propose that
item 5, yeah, to add something in relation to about the national press and that we would have a council response to it.
Yeah, can you do a form of words, Sue?
Is somebody making a proposal?
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. Yeah. Was just I'm happy to propose it, but I think it needs to probably come from one of the committee members.
Well, I suppose what you're wanting to propose is that should we be asked for a statement from the national press, how that happens, so the full council, you know, it's the mechanism, isn't it, really, how that will happen?
Yeah, I don't know whether we need to write all that down in the delegated powers, but we need a process and procedure if that was to be included, so that everyone knows how we would respond. I think that's something probably we need to look at wording wise, Sue, if it is proposed. Yeah, Councillor Walters.
I was just going to say, who would you do? Would it be a full council meeting, or would it be the clerk making a statement on behalf of the council? Because you know, people have got different views, and you couldn't have one councillor saying something, but it could take weeks for us all the council to agree. So I think something where if it has to go to the press, I think maybe give some pointers or some words to Sue, and then Sue make the statement to something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Yes.
Yeah, because we've all got different opinions, and it could cause some trouble if one councillor said one thing and another said another, and as we know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'd very much like to. Yeah, Councillor Sison. Sorry, Chris, I could only just see you.
Thank you. It's just like, say the reg goes up tomorrow, and or say today about, you know, we're running a story about the Whaley Dam or something like that, you know, and I don't know. It's a sort of, because the national press comes out daily, and they're not going to sort of say, well, we'll wait until your monthly meeting or something like that. It's the practicalities of this. I don't know if putting something in would actually. I think we're sort of just tying ourselves up by putting something in.
Yeah, I take your point. Actually, yeah.
You could delegate it to the chairman, vice chairman, and clerk, or something like that if you wanted. No.
I think the issue that Councillor Sison has raised there is a very relevant one. The national press are not for hanging around for everyone to get together or for us to give them a word. They're gonna go for what story they've got, and they don't hang about, do they, on a daily basis? So,
I mean, it's because all we can hope for in that situation is that there's a quote, say, by the chairman, but he identifies himself as the chairman, or there's a quote by the assistant chairman, but he identifies himself as doing it as assistant chairman, or like Sue the clerk, if you know what I mean. I think that's the best we can hope for in that, because the press comes out daily, you know. As long as they make clear they're doing it as themselves, that's all you can do, you know, because.
I'm a bit torn by it, really. I understand the thought process of why we'd put it on there. What I don't want to be doing is I think you said, Councillor Sine, is tie ourselves up in too many knots on it. I don't know. I'm you know, the committee is sitting in front of me. Which way do we go with it? Which way shall we go with it? Do we have a proposal to leave it off there, or one to include?
I would propose to leave it off, because I think it's just confusing. I don't know if I've got a second.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Yeah, can we have a vote? I'm going down that road, to be honest with you. I think we're creating a bit of a monster for ourselves. Could I have a vote on it then, please, that we leave that up, number 5 off?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. That's carried then. Thanks for that. Was there anything else on the terms of reference, Sue, that that needs to be covered, or is that pretty well it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So from a meeting point of view, do we carry those forward? Does somebody want to propose those as a full terms of reference? Does somebody do that? And a second? Would somebody propose it, please?
Well, it'll go forward to the next meeting for application. Will it go to the council next, Sue, or
Sorry?
will it go to the will it go to the council or to the next comms meeting?
It will be included in the minutes, which will go to the council meeting next week.
Application, fine.
Okay, I'm grateful for that. Please humour me while I just get my head round exactly what will happen with these things, and I'm sure, having spoken to Sue next time, I'll be a little bit more knowledgeable. So, are we okay with that item, Sue? That we've clarified it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the next one is the walk leaflets and interpretation boards. We've got the examples in front of you, which are, I think, fantastic. And we just need to have a conversation around these, don't we, to see what people think regarding their content. And
I think it's more for information, but probably Councillor Walters will be able to fill you in.
Yeah, I'd like you to, please, Councillor Walters, if you could just fill in on it all. Thank you.
These were discussed when I first came on, and we decided to do the walk leaflets. And Sandra, who is lives in the parish, decided we'd do the walks and everything, and she wanted to be co-opted onto the comms committee, but it was voted against. So we decided to do it as a chapel community group. So as you can see, we've done all the walks, we've rewrote them, we've done the pictures, we've redone the interpretation board and reworded and got rid of things that aren't there and everything. And I'm very pleased with them. They're coming on. I think we've got one more meeting and then they're all ready to go to the press. It's been funded by Lindsay Wedderton. What is it, Sue? It's been funded by...
She's the regeneration officer at High Peak Borough Council, and she's got funding from central government as part of the Toddbrook Reservoir disaster. So it's going to be Chapel, Whaley and New Mills are going to have sort of like a uniform theme of these interpretation boards and things. So it's fully funded. We're not going to have to pay anything. The Parish Council logo, the Chapel Community Group logo and the Borough Council logo will go on everything because it's been a joint effort, really.
Okay. I think they're excellent. I think they're excellent, Stella.
There's been a lot of work put in them. I'm very pleased with them, and I think I think the council should write a thank you letter or something to Sandra because she's worked hard on them. She's done a lot of hours. And we're not going to stop there. We're going to try and do longer walks over Eccles Pike and over to Coombs and everything, and try and get, because these are all smaller walks, and do the bigger walks, you know, the 8 and 9 mile walks, and try and do the same with them. So that's our next, with the Chapel Community Group, that's our next thing to do.
And in relation to keeping these up to date, Stella, how does that work? You know, in relation to content information.
Well, because there's not supposed to be any more houses being built or anything in the area. The walks are mainly all been rewalked and everything from the ones that were done years ago. So they all, at this moment, are all up to date. Obviously, if things change, then we'll update them. We want to update the tramway when that gets going and have that onto some of the walks. But we've also got some distribution area people that want, you know, information centres where we're going to go and deliver them ourselves. So we don't need any funding for that. Buxton want at least 5,000 of these maps, they told us. The information centre for people going, which is a big amount.
Yeah.
So I think it will bring a lot of tourism to Chapel. I mean, I've had them in my pub, just the single ones, and I've run out a few times. The tourists are interested, and if we can get people walking here, then they can go in the cafes and the restaurants, and it builds the economy up.
You know, the actual leaflets themselves, which, as I say, personally, I think they're really good. Are they going to be going out into distributed into Chapel into shops, or do they sit?
I'm going to. The idea is at the moment I've got them in Airbnbs, the Royal and places where they have people staying. The idea is that we're going to have them in the library and that, but they're mainly to go out to the area and for visitors, because they do have them in the post office. I've got them in here in my pub. So there is a few places locally that will have them. I think reading, but obviously they're going to be free. So you've got to ask people if they can put them in there. But once they finish, that was my plan for going round Chapel and seeing who actually wants them. Yeah. Because they are worth it.
Well, on behalf of the committee, thank you, because it's a good job. I think this will really benefit Chapel.
And the information boards did need updating. They're very old, aren't they?
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, that's good. We carry on with those, and hopefully that's a big positive for Chapel for when this COVID leaves us alone a bit, and we can start trying to get back to normal. But there are people walking now. There are, with social distancing and everything, and people keeping healthy. So there's, it will still be of use to us pre or post COVID. So that's good news. Okay. Any other comments on that, by the way? As Councillor Seisland, thank you.
Okay. two things. They're very nice. Can we find a place on the website where people can download them? Is the first question.
Yes, and it's going to have the QR code on the website as well.
Oh, that'd be nice.
You'll be able to do it that way as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And slightly connected but disconnected is, I don't know if this is the right place to put it in. The website's very difficult. You can't really use much of it if you've got a mobile phone or even tablets. All modern websites, you know, automatically adjust to devices like that, and it is so difficult because if somebody just wants to look up the phone number of a parish council when they see something in the street, they have to go home and use a laptop or a desktop. So I just wonder if there's something we could maybe put on a future meeting about the compatibility. It's you know.
Yeah, so we're on a website domain at the moment that doesn't allow for that variance then, whether it be a phone and...
Just have a play with your phone, Tony, next time you get a chance.
I use my laptop, you see, so I've never gone on my phone.
A lot of the links are broke. Loads of the links are broken.
Well, just wait. How are we going to remedy that then? What is that an issue? Where does that sit? Sue, can you help with this in relation to the website?
It's on the terms of reference.
We can put it on the next agenda, and I can speak to the web provider in the meantime.
It's the terms of reference. It's the function number 4. So you can put it on your next meeting. And
yes, I've just noticed that. Yeah, I've got that. Thank you, Councillor McCarthy. Yeah, to monitor the content. Council's website, it's ongoing maintenance. Okay, yes, please, let's put that on because we want it to go across all fields, and a lot of people now do use iPhones and tablets, and you know that's what they use for access. So let's try and get that right and make the ease of the website as best we can. Yeah, Councillor Walters.
I meant to say it is also going to be on the Chapel Community Group website. And it's going to be where you can download it. We're hoping to get it in the audience map style, so you'll be able to download it as well.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Very positive indeed. If we can now move on to the welcome pack.
Do you want me to explain?
Yeah, I've got Councillor Walters round up, but you go first. So, and then.
We produced a welcome pack when we were having all the new houses built, really. Yes. And it was just local information. And it was hard to keep it up to date, but it's really whether we want to continue with it, you know, if there is a need for it or not. And then if there is, how we do it.
Yeah. How was it put together in the first place, Sue? Was it done by the communications committee, or was it
yeah and so one of the members of that committee, they had access to sort of like publishing, so they actually sort of set it, if you know what I mean, in a proper format.
Okay. Has any of the committee seen that welcome pack?
It was shown at the meeting, a communication meeting, the very first one I went to. It needed updating, didn't it, Sue?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were going to decide what to do about it and whether to redo it or think of something else, and that's where we got to.
Okay. Thanks, Councillor Walters. Councillor Seisland, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we could have a copy of it, and you know, we're being a bit blind maybe for the next meeting, and
that's what I was going to propose.
You know.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, please, if we could have a copy of it sent to us, so we can have a look for that and put it on the agenda for the next meeting. And let's have a look and let's get our ideas together as to whether it's still a viable product or whether we need to move away from it or whatever. I like the idea of the welcome pack. So let's see how we go when we get it anyway. Okay, thank you. Okay, the next one is the social media policy, which you've had a copy of. quite a comprehensive document in front of us, and I suppose it's for the committee to decide if we're going to adopt this as the social media policy.
Yeah,
So, anything I need on this?
it was previously adopted, but there have been a lot of comments about the fact that it's very long and very detailed, and whether we need to just do something a bit more precise.
Right. Is this, once again, is it a policy that we've adopted following, best practice from other areas? Something that has developed?
I think when it was written, it was Councillor King was on the council then, and he did quite a lot of research. So he looked at a lot of other people's social media policies, but it does seem quite wordy.
Yeah, so I trawled through it earlier on today, and you sort of get 3/4 of the way through, and you have to really concentrate, don't you, to get the final bits in. I suppose the way forward would be to possibly have a look at up-to-date social media policies from our neighbours' councils to see what they put together. It may be that they're suffering the same thing and have got the same wordy policy. But I think we need to have a look at what others are doing before we try and mend an unbroken wheel, as it were. Is that something that we could achieve, Sue, to have a look at the at what's alternate to us?
Yeah, Councillor Seisland's got his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councillor Sandy, I do apologise. Your name's up with mute, and your hand is behind it. I do apologise. Councillor Seisland.
Two things that, to me, maybe ask Dalk if they've got a standard policy or, But the other thing is a slight confusion here, because I know Councillor Harrison passed the fact about a social media from one of the committees. I think it was the Finance in General, because we held out, it was the bit in the communications policy, which we normally sign off each year, but it's holding over at the moment because the committee felt like we needed to put a social media usage in the office bit on, like all sort of organisations now have how social media's used in the office, which is basically people using the phones and stuff like in the office. So it's probably a bit of confusion. What Peter meant was that it wasn't this, it was the community adding on to the communications policy, right. So a bit about the because every company and I suppose most councils, but again, would it be possible to ask Sue if Dalk have a sort of a standard policy for how social media is used in the office, because everybody's got them now, Yes.
So you just are you talking about just the council's social media?
So it was basically when we went through the communications policy, it was like at the Finance in General, where people were asking we put a bit on about in the council's offices. It was that bit. So it was that social media bit that was passed through from Peter Harrison. He sort of and that. So
are you talking about? Yeah. You've gone mute.
Yeah.
Right. Go on.
You're back.
So
you're back, Chris. You went mute.
It's okay. I accidentally took my button off the unmute button.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Basically, just having a standard workplace social media policy in that I'm sure probably other councils have got. Every company has one now. It was just bringing us up into the modern age. Everybody thought at the Finance in General.
Can I just clarify? Are you talking about how we use the council social media platforms, or are you talking about as well staff just using their own in work time?
It was the staff thing that the Finance in General committee were. That's why they sort of put asked it to go to this committee, but obviously this committee is not met for it. So over that time, he's got confused. But that was what that was the intention at the time. That it was just somebody said everyone's got one and we should have one, because it could be, every company has one. I'm sure most parish councils have, and I'm sure Dalk have got something they can give us. It's just to bring us up. It's a modern way of working.
Yeah, I think Sue, what we've got is two separate issues here.
Yeah.
We've got the social media policy, which Dalk or someone will help us with.
Yeah.
We've also got, it's almost like practices and procedures from within the council, from the offices in relation to social media, which tends to sit probably in the council committee side in relation to the practices, but it's really encompassed in one social media policy, isn't it? And it's included in there in some way. And as I say, I'm aware where I work at Baker Solicitors that, in fact, we do have a practice and procedure in relation to the use of Facebook and social media whilst we're at work. But we also have a much more far-reaching social media policy. And I think that's probably what Councillor Sizeland is talking about. I've been listening. Yeah, I see his nod of approval. Can I just say, I think the best thing we do is put this in the hands of Sue for her to do a bit of an examination with Dal, with our neighbours, and just see exactly what's there and put something together for the next meeting, if that's acceptable to everybody. Yeah. Is that okay? Everybody okay with that? Yeah. Is that okay, Sue? You're okay with that?
That's fine. Yeah.
That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, item 8 on the agenda is newsletter. Once again, I'm sort of in your hands initially, Sue, in relation to where we go with this and the discussion. Okay.
So it's whether we stick, because you're going to meet more regularly, you could do the newsletter, but as Councillor McCarthy said, the council had agreed that the full council would do it. At the moment, we haven't done them because obviously we can't, we've got no means of delivering them really. So it's how we move forward. I don't know. Or we leave it with the full council.
Okay. Well, number one, we need newsletters. It's part of our process of letting our community know exactly what's going on in the community and also within the parish council. So we do need, I think, a process that makes sure those letters go out. In relation to the timeliness or whether they are controlled by the committee, the communications committee, or the full council, I think is the issue here. Does anybody have any views on this? Or Jason, have we already? Sorry.
Jason put his hand up a minute ago.
Who's put his hand up?
Yeah.
All right, I haven't got Jason on here, sorry. Jason.
Oh. Yeah, you need to unmute Jason.
Good evening, all. First of all,
hi, Jason. Sorry, my friend, I didn't see you there. I do apologise, okay, Jason.
It's all right, thank you. First of all, can you start by apologising, please, Chair? I was a little bit late. Two meetings clashed, and I've just had to sort the boys out and get back.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay, Jason. Don't worry.
So my thoughts on a newsletter, Chair, and members of the council would be, have we considered actually reaching out into the parish and seeing what they would like to receive from us in a newsletter? Rather than us just thinking that we know what they want, maybe there are specific items that they'd like to discuss. Maybe local sports clubs get an opportunity to promote themselves from within the village, which would encourage growth. People like Angela Buttrell, who does the Wells dressing. Maybe she gets an opportunity to just share what she does with the rest of us. I don't know. I mean, it's just a guess, really. Would that make the parish newsletter more appealing to people that live locally?
From my experience, yes, it would, Jason. Yeah. Definitely. Exactly how we go through that process I think what we've got here is a newsletter that we, as a council, we need to have items that we know we want to get out, and then we make sure that the newsletter has almost like a community page as an additional, whether it's in a column or what it is, that sits alongside it, so that we get out our points that we know as a committee and as a council we want to get over. But I think it's extremely important that the council have their say. Got that wrong. The community have their say when we're putting this out. I'm for it. I think it's an excellent idea. Exactly how we communicate that out to the community, I think I'm looking at you all now in relation to ideas, because it's only as good as how we get that out to the community to say, look, we'd like your views. We are doing a newsletter so many times a year, and in that time we would like your thoughts. Yeah, Councillor Walters.
What about putting like a questionnaire out and seeing if people can answer that, on the website or on the social media, like you say, or something to get people's views, or do a surgery. Do a surgery and see what people want that way.
I think it's going to be a Zoom surgery at the moment.
Well, that's fine, but you do it and they can come and ask questions.
Councillor Azed, yeah, thank you. I'm just going back to Councillor Azed. You came up with that thought. Have you given that any thought, Jason, in relation to what you think, how we could do that, or is it just something that is an idea?
To be fair, Chair, it's just it really came to me while you were speaking, and whilst I've been listening to what others have been saying as well, maybe you could have a topic. I don't know how often you're planning on putting the newsletter out, but first of all, 70% of it needs to be council business, because you want to share with them what the parish council are trying to achieve. But then you can have potentially maybe a topic a month. Is the broadband locally? Can we discuss that? Can we discuss ideas for the 100 years in the park potentially, or just to engage with them really, so that it's no longer 13 councillors batting on behalf of 8,000. There's 8,000 sort of working with us. Yeah.
The concept I have no problem with at all. Any other views at all from the committee in relation to? I think that's an excellent idea, but in relation to the newsletter itself, Sue, how did that newsletter go out before? Was it? And when was the last one that we put out?
Yeah, it was probably when we last met. So we've not done one in the last year, I don't think.
Yeah.
We used to pay to get it delivered in Chapel-en-le-Frith. They didn't go to really outlying places, but sort of the main body of Chapel-en-le-Frith we got it delivered to.
Yeah.
And then in places like Whiteturf and Coombe, Sparrow Pit, the pubs would take them, and obviously they were on the notice boards and stuff. So
I think this is where the website comes into it, and Councillor Seiseland's thoughts on making sure that iPhones and tablets are all accessible to it, because in that way we do reach a much wider audience, don't we? Go on, sorry.
It's who does it as well, because the last one we did, I think Councillor Gourlay actually set it, and did it himself. We only have limited, means of doing it with software, so it's whether the council should pay somebody to actually do it, so it looks like something that just isn't junk mail and goes in the recycling. I think that was what the comments were previously. That So it probably needs thinking about, doesn't it?
It does. My thoughts are that if we're going to put out a newsletter that meets our needs in relation to the council, but also meets the needs of the community, as Councillor Azed said, then that needs to be of a fairly decent quality. And I think we certainly need to give some thought as to the funding of that particular item. I think we should be doing it. I think a newsletter should be a quarterly thing that goes out, but that's my own personal opinion. I'll welcome your thoughts. And I think there's something where we need to seek help from, unless we have somebody within the committee that have got skills in that area of putting something together. Once again, I'm happy on your thoughts on this as a committee. Anyone else? Yes, Councillor McCarthy.
Perhaps, Sue, at the next meeting of the Comms Committee, you could attach a copy of the last newsletter that went out, just so that the current membership can see it.
Yeah, I think for the next meeting as well, I would very much like to perhaps progress what Councillor Azad has come up with regard to asking the community. And I'm just wondering, until the next meeting, how we could actually do something on that, just to give it, you know, dip our toe in the water and give it a go. Really, let's just give it a go and see if we can come up with something that, you know, people actually do respond. And for the next meeting, we've actually got some clear responses. The only danger if we don't do that is that 3 months have gone by and then another 3 months. And I'd very much like to probably do something. As I say, I'm no expert on this. Councillor Walters, yeah.
Well, why don't we come up, or Sue come up with like something like, I say, a question, or ask the people, put it on the Facebook page. We're all on Facebook, we can all share it, and it can go out, and then have somewhere where they can respond to it, and then we might get an idea of what the public wants and what because otherwise, like you say, another 3 months will go.
No, it's not. It's no good.
Yeah,
no,
and so we've got to get something, because this is a trouble with these meetings. You have a meeting, then it goes to the full council, then it's got to come back, and before you know it, months have gone and nothing's happened. So I think we need to come up with something tonight on what we're going to do.
Okay, well, let's have an action that actually gives us that task to actually bring back to the next committee, so that we've got progress. You know, that's what minutes and meetings are all about, is that we task. We go out, we do something, we come back and we achieve. And I think, yes, Councillor Adzad.
Chair, I wondered if when we go out into the local area, can we give them a specific email rather than Sue's, as the clerk, the assistant clerk, Councillor McCarthy, everybody else? Can we give them a single email that they can communicate with, so that we can take the emails from there, or is it? Is that something that would be no good to the?
You mean set up a separate one?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
We could do that.
So that everything in that is to do with the
communication.
So what we can do is, when we did the neighbourhood plan, we had a separate email which was just nplan@chapelpc.org. So we could set up a newsletter at Chapel PC. You know, we could set up an email that would run alongside our existing ones.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. And then we have the website as well. I don't think we need to move into leaflets or anything at this stage. I think we give it a go and find out how the community respond, because at the moment we're hoping that what we're going to get from it is a community response, and we do get some ideas. Because if we don't have any ideas, we're left with what we produce ourselves. So can I put that forward then, that on the minutes that Sue, you look at setting up? Can we still use the website to ask that question as well? It is functional that we can get it set up on the website. Yeah. Please excuse my ignorance on it. I've used the computer, so I wasn't aware of the problems. Laptop and with the iPads and things.
Well, okay. Do you want me to just write something that we could put on the Facebook page, and then I just email it out to the communications committee?
You beat me to it. Yeah. That's what I'd like you to do. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah. And then we can all share it, and then hopefully the people will get back to us, and it's not.
I think that's very positive.
The thing is, Tony, someone's got to read all these emails if they come back, so you need to get.
Well, I'm assuming
it's a good idea.
Yeah, you would be happy to take that on, wouldn't you, Sue? As emails coming in, and let's go from there. Let's get something positive out there that that people feel like we as the council are asking for their views. They're coming back, and then once people see them actually in newsletters, it feeds. It's a positive feed. People see that we're using it, we're using their ideas, and then it builds. It builds. And Sue will be killing me for the amount of emails and ideas that start coming through with a bit of luck. So can we? Yeah, is everybody okay with that?
Yeah. Oh, Chris.
Councillor Seisland, yeah, I can see you now.
Very quick point. I just say that we can have as many incoming email addresses as we like. We only have to pay if we use them for outgoing. So if you have a special email address, basically you can just have it going to 1 or 2 people, but you can't. So, which I don't. You know, what I'm saying is I'm just trying to keep the cost down. That's all.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for a separate email address. You can have a pseudo address, which Office 365 lets you do in 10. It takes you about 10 seconds, well, maybe a minute to set it up.
Okay. And other than Sue's time, it's zero cost, isn't it? Really, that one. It's not going to cost us anything, from the sounds of what we just said. So yeah. Okay. Any other views before I move on to item 9? Okay, item 9, press releases. So I think the question is, do we have anything that we need to get out there, or is there?
What's happened previously, because Councillor Lawley was the chairman previously.
Yes.
And that was part of the reason why we haven't met, because he was very tied up with work. But because he, for his job, writes press releases, when the full council meeting agreed what the press releases were going to be, he and I wrote them, and then he sort of made them sound like press releases, basically.
Yeah.
So it's just really how we take that forward. You know, who signs it off before it goes, really.
So no press releases would go out unless there was a full council meeting. Is
Well, at the moment we've got it as an agenda item on the full council, and so at the end, if there's something we've discussed in that meeting that will be a press release, that is what's happened in the past. Yeah.
Okay. So I suppose the question is, is that how we're going to carry on with press releases, that they're part of the full council meeting and then get sanctioned there? All I'm thinking of is, do we ever have press releases that we'd like to go out? I know we've got the newsletter, but is there anything ever that we need to go out, that needs to go out, that, you know, we need to get out before a committee meeting, or does that not happen? I don't want to create a problem and ask a question if it really doesn't happen.
I can't off the top of my head think of one, but
okay.
Maybe.
Can't think.
No, Councillor McCarthy, you obviously, from your knowledge of them,
it's usually topical items that we've discussed that goes to the press.
Okay.
And we get things like when we set the budgets and so on, you know, that also goes to the press as well. So there are kind of things that we do on a cyclical basis.
Yeah. Could I ask a question? And it's purely, I'm thinking of Remembrance Day parade that's coming up, and the new COVID rules and what's going on. Would that not? We would not be looking at press releases there. That would be purely information that we'd put out on a newsletter or on the website. It would go there. It wouldn't be any more than that. Yes, Councillor.
Yeah, what we've done is it's up to the British Legion to set the ground rules for Remembrance Day, which they've already done. But we've already issued a press release to say that the Christmas tree lighting won't take place in the normal format. So,
okay.
So it's that kind of thing, really, where what's the council's responsibility, we'll make press releases for.
Okay. You've actually answered my question about the Christmas and everything, that the press release has been done.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Well, unless anybody's got any other issues on press releases, I think we can move on to the final item, which is date of next meeting. Is there any other? Does any other business coming there at all, Sue, or do we?
It's not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda, so you don't. If there's anything you wanted, we could add it to the next meeting.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, date of next meeting. We're basing it on a quarterly, so 3 months, which takes us to, crikey,
January.
December.
It probably would be good to meet before we did our budget, wouldn't it? The full council did their budget, in case there's any spending you want to add.
Yeah, and when is that? When is that meeting, please?
That's a bit dictated by High Peak when they send us the information, but it's generally mid-January. So if we sort of met early January.
Yeah, first week in January.
First,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, that I was just thinking beginning of January or something like that. Is everybody happy with a Tuesday today, or is that not such a good day for people? Councillor Walters?
Well, Wednesday's better for me, really, but that's just personally. What I'm thinking is, if we're going to wait till December, end of December, January, that's another 3 months without a newsletter going out again. And you said, you know, we've agreed that we do really need to get something out. Can't we just meet at once we've had some replies from what Sue puts on and emails? Can't we just meet and discuss something? I don't know. To me, it seems a long time.
Stella, we said that if there's a necessity, we'll call and put a meeting together, and I'd be reliant on Sue there to let us know if we've got anything that we need to put together. I certainly have no problem with that at all, and I'm in agreement with you on the newsletter. I'm quite passionate about the newsletters. If we get that right, it's a bit like your walks and the documents that have gone out. You know, if we get them right, they're really positive for the community.
I think it's important that we communicate with the people of Chapel and the areas, because we're not doing.
I don't have any problem with that at all. And so, Sue, can we see how that manifests itself?
Or do you just want to say we'll meet in November? Yeah.
What are we talking about? We're talking about 4-6 weeks.
It's October this week, isn't it? So
yeah,
we could meet.
October, November. Well, okay. Look, I'm really easy on this. Obviously, Councillor Walters feels strongly about getting another one in. I really do not mind. I'm more than happy to chair a meeting November, beginning of December, whatever you choose. I really don't mind. We do need to settle into the quarterly sort of habit at some stage. What's your views, everyone? That we get an earlier meeting in? Do you feel it's necessary? Chris? Can't see your hand. Sorry, Chris. Sorry. No. Councillor Seisling.
It might be an idea just to do it 2 months, just to get back up to date. We're not having the next one in 2 months to get a bit back up to date without having one for a long time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's been proposed. Can somebody propose that, and we'll crack on and get that done? Yeah.
I'll propose it, and then once the newsletter's up and running, then you go to your quarterly one again.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and that gives us a chance to get a feel for what the community are pushing back to us as well. Yeah, okay. Sue, can we work for something then? Stella's asked for Wednesdays. That's okay by me? I'm really flexible, but does anybody have a problem with Wednesdays?
Jason, can you do Wednesdays? You're on mute.
You're on mute, mate.
Yeah, apologies. Yeah, Wednesdays are great for me. Thanks, Chair.
Yeah, okay. Everyone else?
Wednesday the 18th?
Of November,
Yeah, excellent. If we could put that in, that'd be lovely.
At 7.
7 o'clock, please. Yeah, that's good time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, everyone. Extremely positive. That's really good. I'd like to say thank you to the members of the public who've been sitting in. Thank you very much for your time. And we'll look forward to meeting you at our next meeting, which will be communicated. You can join us as you wish. So that is the end of the meeting. So if we can call it to a close, please, Sue. And we look forward to the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye now. Bye.